Wow, wow, wow. Welcome back to Leading from the Future. You know, it's a TV broadcast with your host, no other than me, myself, Dr. Pastor Anthony D. Shannon Sr. Listen, this is a unique space where inspiration seamlessly blends with revelation to empower your journey. That's correct. Here, we don't just keep you informed, we transform your perspective. Dive into riveting stories of individuals who trumpeted over adversity. They learned from that crisis and they learn how to persevere against all odds and absorb invaluable lessons that they're willing to share for you using their voice to ignite change. So, welcome to Leading from the Future. You know, my guest today is no stranger to leading from the future, but she might be to some of you. So, I love to introduce to some and present to others this wonderful gift to the body of Christ. She is Gloria Caldwell. She's a business manager for NASA, entrepreneur, life coach, writer. She's a stage play actress. She's the CEO of Knockout Mentality, where she empowers individuals to unleash their inner power through a transformative journey of self discovery and personal growth. She values her purpose in guiding and supporting individuals in pursuing personal excellence and helping them develop a resilient and unstoppable mentality. Gloria's love for humanity, quick wit, high energy. She draw listeners in. Her sincerity, her authenticity, and her willingness to be transparent allow her audience to feel comfortable while facing their truths. Would you welcome my guest, Gloria Betts Caldwell?
Hey. Yeah.
How
Love
are
it.
you?
I am fabulous. It is so amazing to see you once again.
Yes, indeed. Well, listen, we're so excited that you are back again and that you are willing to share your story with
Yeah,
these folks out here all over the world.
that's
So,
right.
first of all, tell people who you are, what you do, and what
Mhm.
is this knockout mentality?
I am Gloria Betts Caldwell. I am, first of all, the child of God. Second of all, a mother to two beautiful children, Giovanna and Jeffrey Grayson, who are my pride and joy. I am a business manager, as you said, at NASA Marshall Space Flight Center. I've been there for 23 years coming up. So I love people, been involved with human resources for a long time, love people. Um, Artist, owned a music production company, Love for Arts, and motivational speaker, which is my heart. It's the poor back into the community of people, God's people. So I love that. Knockout mentality came about in many different ways. I would say through my life's journeys and the people that have poured into my life and the things that they did not pour into my lives because at the time we weren't as apt to speak to the youth as we are now. We speak more freely now with social media out here pouring into them. We'd like to contradict that um, with some truth, some faith, and some hope. So, motivational speaking for me and knockout mentality is building faith, fear, and focus so that you build a foundation for freedom in your future. Can't even get it out. Sometimes. But yes, it's just making sure that you set yourself up for the best opportunity to succeed in life as you can. So,
So,
yeah,
tell us, you're not afraid and you're very open about your faith and
yes,
that
absolutely.
you love God and God
Yes,
loves you
yes,
as well as you love humanity.
yes.
Tell us your experience on how you developed a relationship with the Lord?
Ooh, that started from birth. I had two powerful grandmothers, my maternal and my paternal grandmother. My paternal grandmother, had a sixth grade education. She had 8 children and made sure she instilled in each one of us that you're no better than anybody and they're no better than you. And with the faith of the Lord, you can go far, and to treat people right and lean and depend on Him. So that's been from the ground up. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was the one that picked us up for church every day, bought dresses to make sure that I looked beautiful during Easter time. And then she was the president of the National Baptist Women's Convention and was heavily involved um, in her spiritual walk. She was a speaker as well. I draw influence from her. But traveling around with her, even as a child, and seeing her speak on many different platforms and leaning depend on the Lord in many different situations, it's inspired me. Of course, that trickled down to my parents. My father's a deacon, my mother's a mother at the church. Of course, my father teaches Bible study and has always incorporated that into our daily life. He takes my children now, he takes them every Wednesday, picks them up. So God has had a major influence in my life. He has been a staple in my life, and through my life's journey, all of the trials and tribulations and obstacles that I've had to endure as a young adult, when I recognized who it was, really. And as a mature adult, leaning and depending on Him, my faith grew stronger and stronger. So, yes.
Well, let me ask you this. How important then is
Hmm.
community? You talk about two grandmothers
Yes.
who have impacted your life,
Yes.
and then you are surrounded by faith filled people. And of course, in church, and your father, he teaches the
Mhm.
Bible. Well,
Mhm.
how important then is community for your
Woo.
growth or anybody's growth?
I think it takes a village. And I understand it's a statement and people hear it all the time. It takes a village to raise, but sincerely, it takes a village. It takes community. It takes that person to be there at the right time with the right words to instill in you, because your parents aren't always there. My grandmothers are both deceased. They're gone. I don't travel around with my dad and my mom in my pocket, so I can put a Bible in my pocket, but not my mother and my father. So sometimes the community, they are the ones that are there at that very moment in time of need that gives you that word, that encouragement, that pat on your back, that prayer. So I think that it is a necessity for anyone's life. Absolutely.
And now the involvement of your father
Yeah.
coming and being involved in his grandchildren's life, how
Yes.
impactful is that to your children?
Whew. You know, um, At first, I was like, okay, it reminded me of my grandmother. I got melancholy, when he would come around. I knew what it meant for me.
Hmm.
And it's one thing when it means something for you, but the part that touched the heart of me was every time my daughter comes to me Wednesday
Mm.
morning before she leaves for school to ensure that her granddaddy is going to come and pick her up and take her to Bible study. It's an ask from her and my son as well. My daughter's 12, my son is 9. And for them to come to me and to want to rally around and spend that time with him and get that word, um, that means so much more to me than just seeing it replay from when I was a child. I knew how it was impactful for me, but like you said, it's a decision. God gives you the decision you come to Him. And as an individual, you get to make your own choices. So to see my children want to make the choice to move in that direction is extremely powerful, impactful, and significant for me as a mother.
Wow. Well, listen, this is going to be our first break, but you are listening to Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Anthony D. Shannon. And our guest today is Gloria Betts Caldwell, a manager, business manager at NASA, but she's a speaker and she's doing some amazing things. We will be right back. And not only that, we're going to show you a picture of her too. Thank you.
Are you ready to embark on a journey of inspiration and empowerment? Introducing The Heart of a Black Man, inspiring stories of triumph and resilience. A captivating anthology that sheds light on the incredible stories of Black men who have faced adversity with unwavering strength. This anthology features a powerful voice among its authors, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. His contribution adds a unique perspective, weaving a narrative of resilience, faith, and triumph that will leave you inspired and moved. The Heart of a Black Man is more than just a book. It's a beacon of hope, a celebration of perseverance, and a testament to the indomitable spirit within the hearts of Black men. Available now on Amazon for only $20 or Kindle for $9.99, The Heart of a Black Man is a powerful investment in knowledge, empathy, and inspiration. Reach out to us or order your copy today and join us in celebrating the resilience, triumphs, and the enduring spirit of Black men everywhere.
You can't accomplish your goals if you're afraid and not focused. Over time, I felt like my favorite motivational speaker, Jim Rohn, says, it was the law of the diminishing intent, which for those who don't understand, it just states the longer you take to do what you should be doing right now, the better the chances are you'll never do it. Now, there are 1 to 3 things that people experience when they're dealing with fear. It's the fear of the unknown, the fear of failure, and the fear of shame and embarrassment.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, we hope that you're enjoying the show, and we want to let you know that we are grateful for you. From captivating stories to insightful discussions, we value your presence in our community. Now, if you're finding value and joy in what we bring to your screen, we'd like to invite you to consider taking your support a step further. We have 3 simple ways for you to give, making it quick and easy for you to send your contributions. The first is Cash App. That's right, $Anthony D. Shannon. You can send your contribution directly to our amazing host. The second way is to download the VChurch app. Go ahead and download on the Google Play or your App Store and follow the prompts there. The third is Cash App, $the Victory Church INT. Again, we thank you for your contributions and your support of Leading from the Future with our amazing host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, thank you for being an essential part of our journey. Your generosity truly fuels our passion. Now let's get back to the show because more exciting moments await us. Thank you for your continued support.
Well, welcome back to Leading from the Future. And I want to encourage every last one of you that are watching us or those of you that are partners with us, we want to encourage you and invite you that if you will, obey God and sow a $1,000 seed into Leading from the Future. We can expand this broadcast all over the world. We're doing pretty good. Matter of fact, we put a mug together and it's going to be at the Super Bowl. That's right. We're going to have all the players sign it and bring one back so we can show you it's been at the Super Bowl. Listen, let's get right back in to our special guest. I call her Dr. Gloria Betts Caldwell.
Hey.
Now, Miss Gloria, how you doing? We're back at it.
Good, back at it.
Now, let's tell people your story.
Ooh.
What you went through, how did you overcome, and now you are still standing,
Yes.
but you're standing strong.
Absolutely.
Tell people your story.
Absolutely. I've come a long way. When we start talking about resilience and faith and growth and fearlessness and foundations, I started as a military brat. So traveling around from state to state, meeting new friends, discovering new things. I had to build up resilience, build up my self-worth. You have to recreate yourself every time you introduce yourself to somebody. You start from the ground up. And it's good that you can recreate yourself because you can leave some of the past hurts and failures behind. as you travel abroad. So growing up, I was a military child. I think that was my first taste of where I had to practice resilience, where I had to practice understanding and faith and focus and discipline. Discipline was instilled into us as military children. I am a survivor of rape from a young age, middle school age. And that was very painful. I didn't express that to my father until I was about 17, 18 years old.
Let me
And
pause you here parenthetically because they say that 1 out of every 4 young ladies will be involved in sexual assault.
absolutely.
What does that do to a young girl, a young adult, or even a woman when that happens?
I've heard so many different ways that people have internalized it.
Hmm.
And I say internalized it, but not really dealt with it. It causes you to feel like things are your fault. Question yourself, question your actions, wonder what you could have done differently. Do you replay pain, insecurities, um, heartache, heartbreak, feeling like you're dirty, feeling like you are afraid to speak? Many different things, and it's painful. And not only women go through it, men go through it.
Absolutely.
Um, so my heart goes out to every male or female that is going through or has come through and not fully dealt with it to the best of their ability at this point.
And what happened when you told your father finally?
You know what? In all honesty, I never really gave him every part of the detail. I
Okay.
expressed it to him as assault. Um, I was 17. I was in college. Correction, I was 18. And I was struggling with some things. I started to notice that it took on display in relationship. I went to
Okay.
college at 17, and I was protected with my father there before I graduated when I was 17. So I always felt like he was around. He was a military dude. He was, big dude and did not play. So I felt like I was protected when I went off to school. It was a level of protection that was gone. So I knew I couldn't call him. Um, so I was dealing with it a bit, and I got back home. My parents lived in Texas. I went to school at Alabama A&M University, go Bulldogs, and went back home and told him I'm struggling with something and I need to let you in on something. And need to let you in on why I was upset with you for a while. And he was kind of thrown. And I said, there was an incident that happened when I was in the 6th grade and I was at this slumber party, and this is what happened. And I called you and I asked you to come get me. And we were so far away and I never expressed what it was. And you didn't come get me because it was 1 a.m. and he told me, hey, go lay down next to your friend. And then I'll pick you up in the morning. But I never said what was wrong. I was just like, hey, come get me. Can you come get me? He thought I was maybe in a little tiff with one of the girls that were there.
Oh, okay.
And he broke down. He felt like he had failed me. And it flipped, of course, from wait a minute, I didn't tell you. It was a very painful process. Like I said, and it was really to the point where I've never dived off into telling him the full details. He did go to counseling with me at 18. We went through a lot of different procedures. He was there with me the entire way. He was not in the room the entire time. But he made sure that I got an opportunity to deal with that. And I so appreciate that. And I love my father. And I knew if I would have told them that, he would have been on the first thing hopping. But, when you're young, you don't think about that. You think about this person is here. And, it was the friend of mine's older brother. So he's in this house and he's here, and what will he do? And if he's this person, what will he do in this instant? And then, is it my fault? Was I being flirty in 6th grade? You can be a little flirty. He was a handsome guy, and as a little girl, you can say, you're cute. You're moving into that. So it's like, did I invite this? Am I wrong? If I tell my dad this, is he going to tell me, oh, you being fast? You just don't know. At that age, you're not processing things the same. So, like I said, when I told him, it was hurtful. It was very hurtful to him, but even more hurtful to me, that I felt like I had to put him through a process that he could have observed and absorbed and worked through many, many years prior to. So, yeah.
And yet you've overcame that. And not only that, you got married,
I did.
and
I did.
you had 2 kids.
I did.
Okay, and explain that. How did you meet your husband, and what happened?
I met my husband in Alabama. He was a military gentleman and a great soldier, a great officer that was struggling with some things. And I'm not really going to speak to his side of it, but I can say in relationship, I endured some pretty heavy things. When people have not dealt with themselves, they will deal with it through you. So you can be involved in some abuse, mental, emotional, spiritual, physical abuse, and it's not a good thing. So,
Why don't you do me a favor
mhm,
and say a prayer for
mhm,
those women or men that
mhm.
may have experienced some type of assault, sexual
Okay.
assault, abuse,
Mhm,
verbal, physical.
mhm.
Say a prayer for them at this moment that might comfort them,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. So, Father God, we come to you right now. And when you say two or three gather in your midst, which we are, you are present, God. I come to you right now, lifting up the men and women, your children that have endured pain, God, that have endured living inside a prison that may have been made from someone else's hurt, Lord, someone else's loss of direction, God. And that you just give them the strength first of all to understand that they are your child, that they are worthy of so much more, God, and there is an end to that which began for them in pain, God, and that ending is peace and is joy and is deliverance, God, that it does not just stop in the space that they are. You are a God that has a promise of deliverance, Lord, if they come to you, God. You have a promise of protection, Jesus, if they come to you, Lord. And I ask that you put your darling hand on them, your comforting hand on them, your strengthening hand on them, your righteous hand on them, God, and that you deliver them from what they're going through. Give them the strength to leave, Lord. And I also lift up those that are the abusers, God, that they look to you, that they straighten out their path, God, that they follow your lead, that they turn their lives around, because they are, as we are, your child, God. And we know that as willing as you are to change us, to pour into us and to maneuver us, you are willing to do the same for them. They deserve the same grace and mercy that we have been given by you, Jesus. I ask this, Lord. I just ask that you comfort, you keep, you help, Lord, and you protect, you guide your children in all aspects, Lord. I ask this in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Well, there you have it. You're listening to Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony Shannon, our special guest, Gloria Betts Caldwell. And let me tell you something. I hope that prayer blessed you and touched you. And know this, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're in, you
Yes.
can come out. You can overcome.
Yes.
And you can develop that
Yes.
knockout mentality. We'll be
Yes.
right back. My name is Anthony D. Shannon Sr., International Certified Leader, speaker, trainer, and coach, certified by John Maxwell and Samuel Chad. I am also the founder of Leaders Live Generously Academy, an Anthony D. Shannon consulting group, the #1 platform to help you overcome past failures, release your self-doubt, and shatter fears. You will reach your maximum potential and achieve high results in your life and your business. You see, my mission is to help you become the best you that you can be. With over 25 years of corporate experience, from sales positions to district vice president and even vice president positions with sales companies. I have been responsible for overseeing the success of training departments with over 3,000 employees. I've had the opportunity to create and deliver world-class, award-winning presentations on global stages and corporate platforms across North America. You see, my passion in life is growing and equipping others to do remarkable things and lead significant and fulfilled lives by overcoming and winning. You know, there's no greater mission for me, period. My motto is, everyone has a purpose. So you need to find your purpose and start living your life. That's why I've dedicated my life to teach and encourage people to win. You see, what separates me from the competition? I'll be flat out. It's honesty, it's integrity, it's relevance, it's passion, and it's care. We get results. I always say to live is to grow, and to grow is to change, and change is necessary for sustained success. You know, no matter the business you have, a sports team, corporate, management, or self-employed, if you are ready to unlock your full potential and win in life while serving others at the highest level, I want you to go right now to Anthony D. Shannon Consultinggroup.com or LeadersLiveGenerouslyAcademy.com.
My father, who is very close to me, asked me one time, baby, what is it that you want to do? I rambled off a couple of things, and he said, well, why aren't you doing them? I said, well, I'm afraid. And he looked at me and said, why not try it? Worst case scenario, you're going to end up in the same situation you are now. Time's going to fly, whether you do it or not. So why not do it, scaredy cat?
Hello, and thank you for tuning into Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, we hope that you're enjoying the show, and we want to let you know that we are grateful for you. From captivating stories to insightful discussions, we value your presence in our community. Now, if you're finding value and joy in what we bring to your screen, we'd like to invite you to consider taking your support a step further. We have 3 simple ways for you to give, making it quick and easy for you to send your contributions. The first is Cash App. That's right, $Anthony D. Shannon. You can send your contribution directly to our amazing host. The second way is to download the VChurch app. Go ahead and download on the Google Play or your App Store and follow the prompts there. The third is Cash App, $the Victory Church INT. Again, we thank you for your contributions and your support of Leading from the Future with our amazing host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, thank you for being an essential part of our journey. Your generosity truly fuels our passion. Now let's get back to the show because more exciting moments await us. Thank you for your continued support.
Wow, what a break. I'm so excited because we have here the Knockout Mentality CEO. She's told her story. She told how she overcame. She told how God has been a pivotal moment and point in her life. And now, let's talk about this knockout mentality. Yes. Met her at the the Leadership Experience Tour, and it was just a connection. And God has just begun to lift her up and catapult her to new levels, to new heights, and it's exciting to see. And now, talk to us, Gloria, about the Leadership Experience Tour, this knockout mentality. How you get all of this from that? Or was it something else?
Oh my gosh. So the Leadership Experience Tour has been one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my lifetime, because of the people, the path that it led for me, the eye-opening experience, and the lead into my purpose. To be honest with you, it's amazing how God ties in everything that you've gone through to get to you to where He needs you to be and where He needs you to operate. So I got to LET through the CEO, Sean Fair. Went to college with him at Alabama A&M University, and he and I had reconnected maybe about 4 or 5 years ago on Facebook. He was looking at some of the things that I was doing. We connected. He had a couple of conversations with me just about, hey, go. Everybody knows me from A&M. Calls me go. That's the family name. What are you doing? What are you doing? So, as I was talking to him, he was just like, do you speak? And I'm like, do I speak? Yeah, I'm speaking to you right now. I don't, It's like, no, do you do any motivational speaking? Do you need speaking? And I said, no. He said, the way that you deliver your conversations, even through the phone, no conversation goes without you pouring in to someone. He said, and everything that I deal with is from an educational perspective, an entertaining and enlightening perspective. And you do that in your conversation. And I said, hey, man, I'm just talking. And he said, no, you're not just talking. And you've got this X Factor thing where you've had this music production company and you were acting and you're working at NASA and you had children and you've been through divorce and you've got this story, you've been through abuse and you've gone through health crisis and you've gone through many different things. And you're just always smiling and excited and giving this positive advice. So he said, you need to come on my platform. And I'm like, yeah, no, bro, that ain't for me, but appreciate it, So he's like, no, you need to come on my platform. So come listen in. So I went to listen in on some of the speakers that were going to be on his platform that was coming up. And he let me critique some of these speeches. And I'm kind of like, okay, that's my groove. I can do that. We can critique some of the speeches. And then he flipped it on me and was like, all right, so now you're going to come speak in September. And I'm like, nah, bro, I didn't say that. Okay. So he's like, no, okay. So if you come speak, I'll kind of help guide you through it. I just think that it's something that you need to do. And I was like, well, you do, and I don't, but whatever. So he said, well, come on some of the calls and see how you like it. So I jumped on some of the calls, and you know how it is, Dr. Shannon, you've been on there, and it's all these little squares full of people. And I'm like, ooh, Dr. Shannon, ooh, Dr. Marcia, ooh, Dr. Rhonda, ooh, Dr. Ty. And I'm like,
who am I?
This joker's trying to set me up.
You didn't know you were looking at your future.
Right. And I'm like, no, you're not about to do me, bruh. So I kind of dialed back and I bailed out, to be honest with you. I said, yeah, no, bro, that's not for me. You're not going to set me up for failure. All these doctors out here, nah. So I didn't do that one. I literally bailed out. I'm like, don't call me about that. In all seriousness, you're not going to set me up for failure. I had a fear that boiled up in me that I felt.
Did you even have your speech?
I did not.
Oh.
I did not, because I was listening. You know, this was something that he spoke about. So I'm trying to see where we're going with this. So I went through, I had uterine cancer, and I had a half partial hysterectomy when I was 44. So I'd come out of that. But during this time, they had diagnosed me with breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
And I was going through these treatments, and I'm like, okay, so maybe there's a reason why that didn't pan out, because I didn't know this was coming, and I had to concentrate on this. And there's no way I would have been able to concentrate on this with this new thing that's coming. Me, like a nut, I kept that to myself, because my parents had been going through so many things with family members. We had lost a whole lot of family members during that time. And I'm like, let me not pile on a rabbit until I figure out what's going on. They see this mass, they're saying it's cancerous. Let me just not, my parents are in their 70s. Until it's something to talk about, I'm just going to keep it to myself. I shared it, and I did have a confidant that I shared it with.
Hmm.
an older friend of mine that I confide in, and then I did talk to an aunt of mine. Somebody in the family knew, and we were just
Sure.
kind of gonna hold it. But through that time, we went through that time, and I came through that, and I went back and I told Marcus. I got in touch with Big Marcus, and I said, "Hey, you know what? I think I wanna do this. I
Okay.
think I want to try this." So I talked back to Sean, and they put me back on the tour for March.
Okay.
And I said, okay, well, I had not written a stitch of anything. And I pulled together this speech, and the speech was talking about, I think it was talking about focus, maybe.
Mhm.
I don't even remember. I wrote it, and I had it prepared. And the day that I was supposed to give the speech to Marcus, for him to kind of sign off and give me a little guidance for it, he came on and he did a check, sound check. Let's go through this, and this is what you're going to do, Gloria, and this is how we're going to record it, blah, 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 the regular routine. And I said, okay. He said, well, come back. We're going to come back in a couple of hours, and then you're going to give me this speech. And I said, okay. Well, I walked away from the computer, and just as I don't remember what it was about,
Right.
I read over it and said, this doesn't even do anything for me. And I wrote it, and I was like, how impactful are you when you haven't sold yourself on it? And I
Wow.
said, but I've got this thing and I didn't really know Big Marcus at this time. I had met him a couple of times on a conversation, but I didn't know him to
Okay.
say, I'm not going to do this now. So
I
it
got you.
scared me. And I'm like, this is one of the guys, and I got to give him the speech. So I went and wrote this speech, and I wrote it on fear.
Mhm.
And I banged it out, and it was just like coming to me, coming to me, coming to me. Well, prior to that, I had gotten a gig, I call it, on a Huntsville Valley Weekly newspaper, and I was writing weekly on different topics. So there was a topic that I wrote about. It was called scaredy cat, in school, where you're being called a scaredy cat. You ain't gonna do it, scaredy cat. And you're like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm like, no, you ain't scaredy cat. So I said, this is me in this moment. I'm afraid. I'm gonna write about my feelings, my emotions, what is driving me to continue to keep going. Let me write about this. And that's what I wrote about. And I gave Marcus the speech, and I came on, and he was just like, are you kidding me? And he stops me like minutes into it. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I just wrote this like an hour ago, and I'm like, yeah, I wrote this an hour ago. So yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I probably have to go back and tweak it. And he was just like, no, I guess I'm trying to figure out, do you do this? Because there's really no advice I can give you.
Okay.
Um, so that is how that speech came about. And he didn't really tweak anything. He was like, your energy's fine, everything's fine. And I did not practice it anymore. I showed up in March when I met you.
Wow. I was
So,
wondering what happened.
mhm,
And then you showed up back
mhm.
again, and you got on
Yes,
that stage and you
yes.
knocked it out. And that was amazing. And,
Thank you.
and to see that you denied it, shut it down,
Mhm.
then went through what we call faith fight in your health,
Yes,
and you conquered that, and then
yes,
came back to conquer
yes,
the stage. And
yes,
now to see that you're on many stages and that you now have and building a platform with
yes,
logo and
yes.
colors and
Right.
wonderful pictures, and
That came
it's
after, because I
came
didn't have a
after
platform when I got there. I had a speech.
you had a speech.
I had a speech. So when I met you, and like I said, I was seeing the people coming and going still. And I was like,
Yes.
man, this is still intimidating because they have these platforms and they're selling their platforms. And I have a speech. I have an
Wow.
authentic speech. And it just threw me. But after that, by meeting many of you, there was a network that happened there.
Hmm.
And they helped me to develop knockout mentality.
And you are on your way to
Yes.
many and great things.
Yes.
And that tell people how to contact you or
You can
get connected
contact
with you.
me Yes, you can contact me on Facebook, Knockout Mentality. I have a page there. And also on Instagram, The Knockout Mentality. On email, theknockoutmentality@gmail.com. And my website is coming soon. It's knockoutmentality.com. And it should be up within the next week or so. We're doing some tweaking to that and some adding to that with the new things coming. So it's growing rather quickly. It's really interesting how God moves in that way. He has to connect you to the right
And what's
people.
going to be the name of your book when it come out?
You know what? Right now it's called Letters to G. But
Okay.
I don't, I'm in one of those phases. Well, until I have to give them that name, it's still messing with me some. But it is a guide. It's a 3-month guide, a 90-day guide on fear, faith, and focus. And it's broken down into 21 days in each topic because it takes a while, for something to play in. And then a 9-day reflection where you're going through a process of embedding those into you. So I'm excited about that. It should be out by the end of March.
All right.
And I'm excited about that.
I'm excited as well. Thank you so much for being a guest on
You're
Leading from the Future. You always have an exciting story, how you've overcome adversity, still smiles,
Always
still
smile.
push forward. And
Always.
guess what? The resilience and the love and the faith that you now exuberate because of what you've been through is going to bless millions of people all around the world. Well, listen, everybody, I hope that this as well blessed you. And I hope as well that you be inspired to continue to follow Leading from the Future and support us. Why don't you email us at thevictorychurchint@gmail.com. And we invite you to be one of those partners that sow the $1,000 seed into Leading from the Future. I'm believing for 12 of you. 12 is the number of governmental order. And we believe that Leading from the Future has been ordered by God to bring in people like this wonderful woman of God here, Gloria Caldwell, to tell her story, to inspire you and help you overcome even against all the odds. Well, until next time, I'm your host, Anthony D. Shannon, Dr., Pastor, Prophet, and Teacher of the Lord's Church. Peace now.
Thank you for joining us on another incredible episode of Leading from the Future with Dr., Pastor, Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. We've had an amazing journey exploring visionary leadership and inspiring insights. If you're passionate about sharing your story and ideas on our show, we'd love to have you as a guest. Simply reach out to us via email at thevictorychurchint@gmail.com. To ensure the continued success of our channel, we warmly invite you to contribute. We're seeking 10 generous individuals to donate $1,000 each, as well as 10 contributors with a gift of $526, and 10 supporters donating $224.24. Every donation, regardless of the amount, makes a significant impact. However, as a token of our gratitude, each contributor will receive a personalized prophetic word and an exclusive ebook. You can contribute through 3 convenient ways. The first is Cash App. That's right, $ Anthony D. Shannon. Or $ The Victory Church INT. You can also download the V Church app. Search for us on the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Follow the prompts and make your contribution. Whether you contribute $1,000 or any amount, every donation makes a difference. Go ahead and support us today. For more information and to stay connected, please visit leaderslivegenerously.com. We appreciate your support in advancing our mission. Well, thank you for being a part of this incredible community. Join us again